Hey, come here. It's time for you to officially meet everyone.
You sure?
Didn't I tell the world that I had a surprise?
What's good, people? Agent Jules reporting for duty. So, I have finished all of She-Ra, and ultimately, I enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it for a very specific reason. And beyond that, the show is quite a bit of work. It's got a lot going for it. It's got a lot going on with it. And I want to see if I can kind of dissect my many complicated thoughts on She-Ra. So, with that being said, let us buckle into our favorite hovercraft with our just friend, who we totally don't have very complicated, ambiguous feelings toward. Let us crash the hovercraft in the middle of a forest and lose our friend to the other side and spend the rest of the season, and the rest of the series for that matter, making a litany of bad decisions, except smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That's going to be the only good decision we make. And let's go ahead and talk. As I always do, first let me go ahead and share the speed paint that I'm doing. So, we're about to go into spoilers. The entire rest of the video is spoilers, so let's just say that right now. In the 5th season, there's a point where Catra, who is going to show up a lot in this video, Catra joins the good guys, finally, and as she's about to kind of like, meet the rest of the princesses, Frosta, the little ice princess girl, straight up just comes out of nowhere and decks her in the face. And it was funny. And when I saw that, it reminded me of the famous Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston fight, the one where the iconic photo comes from with Muhammad Ali standing over Liston. So I decided to pay homage to that scene. So, She-Ra. Well, before getting into it, I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is the controversy that surrounds this show. Whenever you take original IP that has an audience that it won over, and you change it one way or another, you are always going to get some kind of resistance. Whether this is Ghostbusters, or the new Star Wars, or Thundercats, or She-Ra, there is going to be... if you make big changes, you expect some kind of resistance. That's just the way of life. I am not here to condone or condemn either side. Understand that I have never seen the original She-Ra. I have no attachment to it. And that being said, I don't really have attachments to any of those 80s toy shows like He-Man or G.I. Joe. The only one I really liked was Transformers. So, and Transformers has gone through a lot of changes, and none of them really bothered me. But if you are someone who adores the original She-Ra and hate this new series, that's fine. That's your opinion. If you're someone who has seen or has not seen the original She-Ra and you love this new She-Ra, great. That's your opinion. That's fine. What isn't fine is when you decide to use your opinion as a cudgel to beat the other side and demand they think your way, or you will punish them in some way. That is that is what we in the biz call a dick move. And don't be that guy or gal or whatever. Don't be that person. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and move on to my thoughts on She-Ra. As I said, I liked She-Ra. I didn't like She-Ra herself, Adora. I didn't hate her, but I didn't love her. No. I love She-Ra because I love Catra. Catra is, by and large, hands down the best character in this entire show. She goes through the most anguish, the most on-screen that we, the audience, witness anguish and turmoil in the show. She has the most. I don't think there's any character who comes even close to the nuttery that Catra goes through. And it's fascinating. She's fascinating to watch. So as far as the other characters go, there really isn't major characters that I greatly dislike. I will say that there's a lot of characters that sometimes suffer from flanderization. Adora is okay. I'm not terribly interested in her, which is kind of a shame because she's a title character. She's very token protagonist. Everything that happens to her is to be expected. So she doesn't really commit too many sins. She doesn't really commit many sins, and but she doesn't do anything surprising. Glimmer. She's okay when she's not being whiny and selfish. Bo is also okay when he's not being too flanderized as kind of a goofball. I mean, I understand people appreciate his goofball nature, but sometimes it gets to the point where it feels kind of... That flanderization, it's like a bit too much. It feels too much like a show, like the writers are trying to force it as opposed to letting it occur naturally. The rest of the princesses, Mermista is a real stick in the mud. She needs to lighten up. Perfuma is pretty funny. I like Perfuma. Frosta is the token, I'm a little kid, but I'm tough. But, I kind of appreciate that. I have a soft spot for that kind of character. I can't remember the rest of the princesses off the top of my head. Or the rest of the good guys, because the good guys aren't really what I'm there for, man. I'm there for the Horde, all right? I'm there for Catra. I'm there for Scorpia. I'm there for sometimes Entrapta. Entrapta can also follow in the trap of the flanderization of being too off her rocker and not allowing her to have a more fleshed out range. Hordak is pretty interesting. Shadow Weaver is more interesting than Hordak because throughout the entire series she remains very ambiguous, and I really enjoy that. It makes her mysterious. I guess what I'm saying is that this show truly shines with its villains. I consistently throughout watching this show find myself watching the heroes do their thing and be like, okay, when's Catra coming back? When's Catra? Catra! Oh, Catra! Oh, you're making bad decisions again! Ooh, you had so many opportunities to be a better person, but you didn't take them! Oh, you are your own worst enemy. And then watching Scorpia be just the greatest little cinnamon roll, and she sometimes suffers the same flanderizations. I noticed that the flanderization problem in She-Ra happens the most when characters are, I guess for lack of a better term, being ooh-woo, right? Being, oh, look at me, I'm so adorable. Look at my, oh, that's so cute. Oh, ooh. It's that over-emoting thing that feels like it's not a sincere reaction. However, that being said, of all the characters who do it, Scorpia's feels the most sincere. She truly strikes me as just a genuine, friendly person, and with the emphasis on genuine. It feels very sincere with Scorpia, which is why I love her as the happy character, especially because she's the muscle and she's like the big character on the bad guy team, and it's kind of fun seeing. I always love it when, especially when you see a lot of this new trend of trying to make the female characters more look at me, I'm tough. I don't take shit from no one. And then you got Scorpia, who's just like, wow, I'm just so happy to be here. I'm glad everyone's being included. And who wants a hug, man? Oh, man. I'm just having such a good day.
Push down doubts and insecurities. Check. I am brave, strong, loyal, and I give great hugs. And I am going to be the best friend I can be.
I think she's made better because she has Catra to kind of like Catra is her straight man, which is the exact opposite of what Catra is. But like, you get what I'm saying. She's like the straight man to Scorpia's Costello. You know what I mean? The abbot to her Costello. I'm not going to get too terribly into details about kind of like the series. I recommend you just kind of watch it for yourself, whether or not you're angry that She-Ra changed a bunch of stuff. I am glad they changed Catra, because I know Catra was not like that, even though I didn't watch the original She-Ra. I know she wasn't like this in the original She-Ra, and I'm glad they made Catra like this, because I am not going to stop gushing about Catra. You can't make me. However, I will say that in the final season, they have a bit of that easy redemption problem, and this is kind of a common critique of this final season of She-Ra, is that too many characters who have a lot of red in their ledger got off too easily. A big one is Hordak himself, because a big part of She-Ra is that Hordak is but a clone of this greater evil known as Horde Prime, who's this dude who's cloned himself and hive-minded himself. And when Horde Prime becomes the big bad, Hordak is kind of forcibly taken back into the hive mind and brainwashed. And there's a scene where, like the former bad guys team up with the good guys. So Scorpion and Entrapta and Catra are now with the good guy team, and they're on the ship because they're trying to rescue Catra. And Entrapta finds a Horde Prime clone And it's not Hordak, they end up calling him wrong Hordak, and his whole thing is that he hasn't been hive-minded yet, so he's this fresh, new, naive face, and they do a lot of those, that, again, for lack of a better term, like uwu gags with him, like he's so cute and everything, and I feel like that was a missed opportunity to actually have that be Hordak. Like, in that, imagine Entrapta finding Hordak. Hordak comes back at the very, very end, but I feel he was underutilized. Imagine Hordak coming back at the end, and he has to team up with his former enemies, essentially for the greater good. And I think that was a missed opportunity to have him have very interesting interactions with the team, and the team be very tepid about having him on board. And problem is that he comes, like I said, in the series, he comes back at the end, and he's kind of like the end game ship with Entrapta and Hordak. Of course, the big one that everyone saw coming from a mile away is that Catra and Adora hook up, which means Catra is now part of the good guys, and she gets her happy ending. And I'm not sure I sit well with that. I'm not as adamant about it happening as some people who are just absolutely furious that, she's done so much bad, and, she's been very abusive, which she has been. She's been very abusive to Adora and Scorpia this whole time, and yet somehow they're able to take her back in, and I do agree that, like, she really didn't earn that level of redemption. They're trying to compare her with Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they are not alike. Catra has done so much worse things than Zuko ever did. And, I mean, for crying out loud, she was willing to destroy an entire planet out of spite. So she is incredibly far gone. Now, it doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve some kind of happiness, but, like, if they wanted to have Catra and Adora, kiss and make up, literally, like, Catra needs her own series worth of redemption in order to get to that point. Let's be real here. She has a lot to work on, and Hordak too, because he was basically, at the time, he was basically Hitler. He was an evil dictator. If anything, Hordak probably should have Darth Vadered himself. He should have, like, his one good thing he does is to, like, do a noble sacrifice, and then you can have Entrapta pine for him, but at least, because, like, Hordak is even, I feel like Hordak is even worse than Catra, so I don't think there's a way Hordak can ever truly come back. He would have to, and even if he did live, he would have to, like, go off and, like, leave everyone alone, because I don't think there's a way he can really truly come into the fold. Again, without an entire series dedicated to it. All right, this is the part of the video where I usually say if I were the king of the forest, and I say that I'm going to rewrite someone else's work. But, She-Ra isn't Noelle Stevenson's original IP. So if she can rewrite it how she pleases, I don't feel sorry about saying how I would rewrite She-Ra. So all of you original She-Ra fans, prepare to get angry at me, because I'm about to rewrite it in my own way. If I would rewrite She-Ra, I wouldn't. I would make my own IP. Because the only character I really like is Catra. So it wouldn't be called She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. It would be called Catra and a series of self-inflicted unfortunate events. And I would sacrifice an entire planet by pulling the lever to get a series that is focused on Catra and Scorpia and the better parts of Entrapta. Like, let's get rid of some of her annoying or flanderized quirks. And have a series where it's the good guys versus the bad guys, and you can still have Hordak. Hordak is the Emperor Palpatine, right? And so his chosen Force captains is Catra, right? So she's like the new and up and coming, like, I'm gonna make a name for myself in this evil organization. And so, like, maybe it's her and her two plucky friends, Scorpion and Entrapta, and she's like, yeah, we're gonna become Force captains, and we're gonna kick so much ass and just gonna rock, yeah. And so, like, it's the story of them, like, like, rising the ranks, like, yeah, we're gonna take over this planet. And so they have to fight the good guy princesses, and, like, the new princess on the block is She-Ra, and She-Ra is kind of like the jock character, because she's like the muscle character. And so, like, Catra meets She-Ra for the first time, and it's like that SpongeBob moment with Squidward and Squilliam, where she sees this famed, feared She-Ra for the first time, and Catra is like, oh no, she's hot! And then you can have like the whole thing where like she's basically simping simping for She-Ra.
All I wanna do when I wake up every morning is see your eyes. Adora, Adora. Why do you always gotta be a stuck-up bitch? Adora.
But that would be a fun cartoon. Maybe I should make it. You know, it's not that hard to make a story about, you know, an up-and-coming cat girl and her scorpion friend. I mean, we'll change them around. Like, you got to keep the cat girl because the cat girl is kind of the appeal, right? Scorpion girl, you can just make her, I don't know, like an orc or a troll. You know, some generic buff chick. Entrapta, really easy. Just make her a nerd. Make her like Dexter from Dexter's Lab, but a girl. And yeah, and you can make your own cartoon. So I may or may not do that. Who knows? I guess this is a roundabout way of saying I love Catra. And despite the fact that I feel she got kind of an undeserved happy ending, and despite the fact that she makes so many bad decisions, that's what makes her interesting. The thing about my channel, I always say this, is that I believe the most interesting character is the one that is going through the most on screen. And consistently, that is Catra. Consistently, Catra goes through more trials and tribulations and emotional turmoil than any character. Like, even Adora doesn't even come close to the amount of anguish that Catra comes across. I can't look away from the screen every time Catra comes on. Catra needs her own show. Catra needs her own IP. Anyway, I think I've spoken my piece about She-Ra, or should I say Catra. You guys know what to do here. If you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and tickle those sacred buttons. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, go ahead and hit that notification bell. Please comment below. I really want to hear people's opinions on this. She-Ra is one of those strangely contentious shows. It's still kind of like the flavor of the week going on, so I know there's a lot of discussion going on. I really want to hear your opinions. Do you think I'm wrong or right? Do you think Catra is best character, or are you wrong? Because if you think anyone else is best character besides Catra, you're wrong! Wrong, 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 wrong! Also, do me a favor and go ahead and share the video, because it's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for the channel. It lets people know that you watch quality content and you want to share that. And in addition, if you wish to stalk me elsewhere on the interbuts, I always put up my links here on the screen, as well as a link to my intro video down below, which has those all of these links that you can just click on instead of having to type them in like some kind of caveman. But with all that said, I thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you all stick around, and until next time, for the honor of deuces.